The power grid has been under immense pressure over the last few months, but in the last week we have seen some reprieve. Just this week, Eskom suspending daytime load shedding up until 4 p.m. This is to give now some insight into the workings at Eskom and how they are handling the power challenges this winter. Joining us is the Group Executive for Generation, Mr. Bheki Nxumalo. Mr. Nxumalo, thank you very much for your time. Let's begin with the glimmer of hope that we are seeing. I've got to tell you, it was a very happy moment last night when load shedding simply didn't come. I was expecting load shedding, but it just didn't arrive. What is being improved at Eskom? How do we get our heads around this improvement? What is it that you're doing?
Thank you very much, Xoli, for having me, and good morning to the Newzroom Afrika viewers. Yeah, firstly, you will recall that in May we came with the winter outlook, where we've indicated that this winter is going to be extremely difficult for us, and then we will, however, try and do our best to keep the unavailability below 15,000. And then we did indicate that if we keep the unavailability to that level, we will see some reprieve and ease on the amount of load shedding.
Yeah.
So we are quite pleased that the team has been working tirelessly to try and reduce. Firstly, maybe let me also apologize for this extended load shedding that we have exposed the country to. But if you recall that as well, around April, May, we were averaging somewhere 18,000, sometimes 19,000 unavailability. So as of last week, we started, or beginning of January, of June, we started to then drive these things based on the plan, because it's all still part of the plan that we shared as approved by the board in terms of the generation fleet recovery. So we are working on that.
Yeah.
And also what we have done as well, since I came back here, we have ensured that some of the stations that are giving us problems, we put our experienced power station managers, one of those power stations being Tutuka.
Yeah.
You know, although Tutuka is still not back with all the units, but it's quite pleasing to see. I mean, one of the units is currently running above 80% availability. They are above 60% availability on the 3 units that are on load. So that's something that is also bringing back the belief to the stations, and that's what is happening across the divisions, you know, where people are starting to believe that we can do this. And that's what I've been saying to the team, that I've got the belief in them, that it's going to take us as generation team to take the country out of this. And I must say, so far the team has been responding. There is a really increased focus. And that's all what it is. It's just working the plan. And then we are still not out of the wood as well, as regrettably we're still load shedding. Even we would have loved to not to load shed. But yeah, I think it's better, you know, that at least now for greater business hours, people, the ordinary people and the businesses are getting some reprieve. Like you rightfully said as well, I'm quite glad to hear that you didn't experience this load shedding, because that is something that is really for me and Eskom, and also from the board. That's what we are trying to minimize, and have people having that experience about Eskom.
Sure.
Thanks.
Look, we can't stay in the negativity realm. Otherwise, I don't know what will happen to our psyche as a nation. So we've got to be positive and acknowledge that positivity when it does come. So the overall energy availability factor, where does that sit right now?
Currently, we're just sitting just under 60%, 59.8. So that was another factor. If you recall, in April, May, we were at 53. So that almost 7% jump. It has also allowed us to also do some short-term maintenance. You will see that our maintenance is, we said this winter we will be below 3,000. We are currently, as we speak today, about 4,000, 4,500, and then we will still bring some other units as well. looking at this long weekend so that we prepare the fleet, dealing with some of the short-term defects as well. But those that are on the long-term maintenance, we continue to do that. I mean, with all this improvement, we have taken a unit at Henrina now for the normal general overall as well. So we are not by any means cutting back on doing the required maintenance as well. We're just in this cycle that we said we're going to be below 3,000, but like I said, today for the rest of this weekend, we would be almost 4,500, 5,000 megawatts on the plan as well, so that we don't compromise sustainability while we are also giving the country some reprieve from this extremely terrible load shedding. Thanks, Dolly.
Yeah. Let's then talk about the negative parts of what you are trying to improve at Eskom. Reports this week suggesting that the Minister of Electricity is extremely worried about acts of sabotage and those that essentially want to collapse the system. Where is this concentrated, would you say?
Yeah, this act of sabotage is something that we all worried about it as it comes. But what we said to the team is that we've got a job to do. If we pick up any criminality of any form within the power stations, we've got now the law enforcement authorities working with us. There is a net joint that is there. We must report those things and then working with our security. But, there is a security team that need to deal with the issues of criminality. But those of us or those who are required to do with operations, to deal with maintenance, they need to focus on what they need to do. Because, one of the things that I pick up that, people feed from, like for myself, from board, from Exco, what we're saying, if we're saying now this sabotage is what's going to cause us, it's causing us problems, even because it's very difficult also to prove, So it becomes sometimes an issue that becomes an easy way out. So if something come up of criminality, the law enforcement are here with us, they are supporting us, let's report that, and then, but let's keep our eyes on what we need to do.
Yeah.
As the team that is responsible for operations, responsible for maintenance, and then allow those that are assisting us to do if investigations are required, so that not all of us now focus on that and then we take our eyes off the ball in terms of what should be happening.
Yeah. Let me conclude the conversation on this very controversial element about sabotage. There's a specific report that came out earlier this month suggesting that the KZN construction mafia has links to the Eskom procurement staff. This is what was said by the electricity minister. Are you able to tell us whether you are able to identify the individuals or they have been identified and they are going through the necessary processes in order to chuck them out? Because you don't want those people as part of Eskom.
Yeah, most definitely. We don't want some people that are, but like you're saying, on those issues that talks to the criminality of all of those things, I mean, I don't think I'm the right person to pronounce on any criminal syndicates as well, because I just don't have the competencies of that. But we are leaving those issues to the law enforcement agencies to really pronounce. For us is to report when there's issues. If there's some people that are picked up, then there is internal processes that we will deal with it. And it's something that I can commit to say if someone is involved on those things and it's come to our attention within our internal processes, we will ruthlessly deal with that, because these are the things that derail us and it's really costing the country dearly. But any other criminality, ours is to make sure it's reported when we become aware of it, and then we let the criminal investigation teams or the law enforcement agency to deal with that. And then obviously there is through net joint. I mean, our teams currently as we speak, they are with the security net joint as well. They meet with us and apprise us where they are busy with certain issues. So I would rather leave that one to them to comment in terms of their investigation, how far they go, where Eskom employees are involved, then they must face what is due for them.
Yeah.
It's really killing the country what's happening.
Let's then conclude it on a positive note. So, how much longer do we enjoy the no load shedding on daytime?
Look, I can't say definitely, but for me and the team within Generation and within Eskom, we would want this to continue. That's why we are working on all the plans that wherever there is possibility for us to give the country the reprieve, we will do that. And I really have got no intentions. That's why we also said, let's try and create some stability first, and then as we continue to reduce the unavailability. Because that's one thing that we have also changed. We're saying, we're not going to be relying on the energy that we don't know when is it going to come. Let's rather work on what we have as an installed capacity. We've got, one of the colleagues said, we've got our own gold mine to reduce this unavailability. And then if we continue to do that in a chunks of 500,000, we will definitely ease this pain that the country is going through. Thanks, Tony.
Eskom's head of Generation, Bheki Nxumalo, thank you very much for your time and